Okay, so let's talk about 5G in Pakistan. The hype is absolutely everywhere, right? We're hearing about trials, network upgrades, these promises of mind-blowing speeds, but there's a huge disconnect. The future is supposedly right around the corner, but for most of us, it just feels kind of out of reach. So what is actually going on? Let's break it all down. You know, we hear all the time about the big technical stuff, like spectrum auctions and network rollouts, but there is one crucial piece of the puzzle that almost always gets missed in the conversation. And honestly, it's the one thing that decides whether you, personally, can actually connect to 5G.
So let's just put the main problem right out there. Imagine this. The 5G network is officially live in your city. The towers are up, the coverage is there, everything on the operator's side is good to go. But you look down at your phone, and it still just says 4G. What gives?
Well, here's the twist. The problem probably isn't the network tower down the street. The real roadblock, the hidden issue, is actually much, much closer. It's the device you're holding in your hand right now. And this brings us to a really common misunderstanding, something I like to call the fast 4G myth. It's this idea that if you have a really fast 4G phone, you're pretty much all set for 5G. I'm sure a lot of you have probably thought this. You see that little LTE Plus or 4G Plus symbol pop up in your status bar. You run a speed test and get a pretty decent result. And you think to yourself, hey, I'm basically 5G ready. And you know what? It seems totally logical.
But I've got to tell you, that assumption is completely wrong. And understanding exactly why it's wrong is the absolute key to this whole issue.
Think of it like this. 4G LTE Advanced, that's your LTE Plus, is the absolute peak of 4G. It's 4G on steroids. It's an evolution. But 5G, well, 5G is a revolution. It's a completely new generation of technology. It requires a different chipset, different antennas, different software. It's kind of like trying to play a Blu-ray movie in an old DVD player. The hardware just wasn't built for it. They don't speak the same language.
And this leads us right to the heart of the problem in Pakistan, what we're calling the Great Device Divide. It really comes down to two massive hurdles: the technology itself and, of course, the cost.
So a 4G phone, no matter how advanced it is physically missing the parts it needs to talk to a 5G network. It doesn't have the right antennas, and it can't understand the new standard, which is called 5G New Radio. And this is the most crucial part. It's a hardware limitation. No software update in the world can fix this. Now, that unfixable hardware problem leads us directly to this number. If you want to get a phone that does have the right internal parts, you're looking at a starting price of around 50,000 rupees in Pakistan. And for a huge number of people, that cost is an immediate and pretty significant financial wall.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. A successful 5G launch isn't just about one thing. It's an entire ecosystem. I think the best way to picture it is like a chain. And for the whole system to actually work, every single link in that chain has to be strong. And if we run down a readiness checklist for this 5G chain, we see a lot of progress. Is the 5G spectrum being sorted out? Check. Is the network infrastructure being built? Check. Is the fiber backbone getting ready? Yep, check. But then we get to the very last link, the one that connects all of this incredible tech directly to you, the user. Affordable 5G handsets. And right now, that link is completely broken.
And here's the bottom line, which the source material puts perfectly. It doesn't matter how fast or robust the network is. If a huge number of people don't have a compatible phone, then large-scale 5G adoption is just not going to happen. The promise will be there, but it's going to remain unfulfilled.
All right, so let's wrap this all up by focusing on the single most important message from this whole explainer. If you're going to remember just one thing, let it be this. We have to stop thinking of 5G as just another network upgrade. It's not. It is a device-driven transformation. It starts and it ends with the phone in your pocket. Without 5G-ready phones in people's hands, all that amazing potential, the speed, the responsiveness, it just remains locked away.
And that leaves us with one final, very direct question for you to think about. Look at the phone you're using right now. Is it truly ready for the next generation of connectivity? Or is it just the fastest possible version of the last one? The answer to that question is really the key to understanding your own personal 5G future. Thanks for watching.